You see, I have been in real situations where I couldn't pass my exams, or probably I didn't get the marks that I wanted. Not because I was not intelligent or not smart, but because there was lack of time and concepts on the part of my teachers or on my side. For this reason, CMG-MathSpace has taken upon itself that among many of its objectives, we are here to give you conceptual understanding of whatever you need or missed in class. If you are here, we have been treating core math, and then we also go into elective math for SHS students. Now, we are on the second chapter on core math at AKI-OLA series, and we are dealing with real number system. We are at a point where we are treating fractions and we are comparing and ordering rational numbers. If you are here, if not for yourself, you can also push it or forward it to someone who actually needs this. Now, let's look at how we can compare on other rational numbers. Now, we know that a rational number is of the fraction a over b, right? That can be expressed in different ways in its equivalent forms, right? We use this property to compare rational numbers, blah, 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 blah. Now, before we do this, there are 3 steps that at least you have to know or follow. The first one is to express the given rational numbers as a common fractions, right? As common fractions, which means the numerator and denominator with positive denominators, right? So that's the first thing to check if the fractions are positive or negative. If they are negative, find the positive of them. That is simply by multiplying -1 by the numerator and denominator of that particular fraction. That is it. Then the second thing is to express the rational numbers as equivalent rational numbers with common denominators. Now, common denominators, you have to find the common denominator when the fractions do not have the same denominators. If you are the same, you just go ahead and compare which one is greater, which one is lesser, using your greater sign and then the less sign, right? Greater sign, greater than, and then less than signs, right? That is it. Now, the third one is to compare the numerators, right? The rational numbers with larger numerator, blah, blah, blah. So that is the thing. So I've given you the overview. Now, we will look at the practical examples. Now, a situation whereby you have been given the fractions to compare, but the numerators are not the same. We have to look at the common denominator. Now, this common denominator under this one, there are 2 ways to solve them, right? Either by finding the LCM, right? The LCM, or you just multiply the denominators. So we have the LCM form, and then just multiplying the denominators. So let's look at them shortly. Now, the first method, which I know you are very, very particular or familiar with, is finding the LCM, the least common multiple. Now, we introduce you to the common multiples of, yes, on the timetable. We have 2 times table, 3 times table, 4 times table, and blah, 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 right? It is out of these times tables that we get the least common multiple of that. Now, in this example or question, you have been asked to order these numbers from the least to the greatest, right? These fractions. So we have 1/3, 1/2, and then 2/5, and then a quarter. This you have to order them. Now, the first method is to find the LCM. So finding the LCM, if you take the times table, if you take the 3 times table, when you multiply or check it down, right, up to a number of them, you go a long way until we get to a point that we get 60, right? And 60, 3 going to 60, how many times? 20 times. So you have to you have to read the times table up to the point that you get these factors 3 and 20 to give you the 60. You see, that means you have to go a long way to do this, right? That is why it's one method. Now the half also, you go up to the 30th one. Here also the half one, the 2/5, right? That one too, you go looking at the 5, the denominator of 5, you go a long way to the 12th one, right? You get that one. And then the quarter also, you read the 4 times table until you get to the 15th factor. So that is a long way. And you know the the times table commonly is up to the 12 factor, right? 2 and 2, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, up to 2, 12, right? So it goes a long way. If you take the 3 also, so you realize that you have to go a long way just to get these factors, and that is a long way, right? So that is why it's one factor or one method. So now that you have 3, you have all these denominator 2, 3, 2, 5, 4, which is a 60. Now you come down, 3 going to 60 how many times? 20 times. Now this 20 multiplied by the numerator. The same thing for the 2 going to 60 30 times. 30 times 1 is 30. Now 5 going to 60 12 times. Now these 12 you multiply by the numerator here, that is what 2, giving you what 24. Then here also 4 into 60 15 by 1 is the same thing. So now you realize that you get 20 over 60, segregating them 20 over 60, 30 over 60. Now this here 24 over 60 and then 15 over 60. So now ordering them in order of ascending in order of ascending or incremental sense, you realize that 1/4, right, is the first one, the least one, following 1/3, then 2/5, and then the half. That is the method. It's as easy as that. Now, this is the method that I know we have treated, and you know that. Now let's go to the second method, a situation whereby you have been given this, but like I told you, the going through the timetable will take a longer time, right? And you may even miss on them, especially in section A of questions, where you have to do this and then choose the answer. So doing this will take a longer time to do this, and you don't have time on that side, like I said. So in my time that I was a student, this is one of the things that beat me, right? And it was very pathetic. Not because I didn't know, but because I didn't have time and I was slow. So at the end of the day, the examiner does not care. The school does not care if you are fast, if you knew it but you were slow. They don't care. So there's a way to make things convenient and faster for yourself. So now that if you have given such a thing, like let's say 1/3, half, 2, and blah blah blah, and it's too much for you, what do? Straight ahead, just multiply the denominators. So multiply the denominators will give you 120, right? 3 by 2 by 5 by 4 will give you 120. So now 120 becomes your denominator. So once again, back to the normal method of doing it. What do? So 120, now 3 goes into 120 how many times? 40 times. This 40 by 1, the same thing. Now this 2 goes into 120 how many times? 60 times. 60 by 1 is 60. The same thing in that sense. 5, 24. Now this 24 multiplied by 2. So we have a numerator here, that is why. So by 2, giving 20, 24 by 2 give you 48. Don't worry, 48. Now the here goes into it 30 times, multiplied by 1 is 30. So now that we have it, separating them once again to get the individual fractions, right? You have 40 over 120, 60 over 120, 48 over 120, 30 over 120. So we see that now you don't worry yourself bringing them to the lowest form, because if you bring them to the lowest form, you are getting back to the same fractions here again. If you should reduce them to the least term, your simplest term, you are getting back to this point. So just leave them here and then do your comparison, right? So once again, you realize that 4, 1/4 comes, 1/3, 2/5, and then half. And then this is the sign that we will use. That's what? Less than. So this means that a quarter is less than this, right? A quarter is less than 1/3, and then 1/3 is less than 2/5, and then 2/5 is less than half. So this is the sign. The reverse will be true when you use greater than sign, right? The greater than sign. So you see. So that is my main focus here. My focus is on the method and not the answer per se, because if you use the same or the correct method, you get a correct answer. So that is the focus here. So thank you very much for watching. Please like, share, and then please help me with the operation 1K followers to start coming live and doing TikTok live. We will see you in the next one. Bye for now.